What's going on, guys? It's Asal, and today we're heading to the jungle because we are playing on the community map project. Now, I haven't actually played this map since it was a big gray blob. There wasn't any textures at all. It was just gray everywhere. So needless to say, this map has changed a lot since I have last checked it out. In case you aren't aware, the community map project is basically a project set forth by DICE where the specifications of the map are catered to the community. They've had a lot of polls and surveys sent out to the community, and we have decided what kind of layout we want, what kind of setting we want, and all this stuff. The map is being catered to exactly what the community desires, which is just absolutely amazing. Now let's jump right into it. What do I think of the map? Well, the layout, I think, is really good. There's still a lot of freedom while the map is still very densely populated. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we have the lack of large rock walls that just kind of limit your movement. You know, you kind of move around the map and you just run into a big rock wall because they want to funnel you in a certain direction, but that simply doesn't happen in the community map project. It seems that everywhere you go, you can traverse the terrain in almost any direction. Probably the best way to describe this is less funneling, I'll call it. If you're not sure what a funneling effect is, think of a map like Operation Locker. Yeah, that's not so fun. You only have a certain amount of access points to get around the map, and it's very frustrating, especially when you have 64 people on Operation Locker. I don't know why people ever do that. It's the most silly thing ever, but basically that doesn't happen in this map. We have complete freedom to move pretty much anywhere we want. Well, the map is still densely populated, and what do I mean by that? I mean there's lots of cover, there's lots of foliage and plants, so you can still move around the map while still being hidden from other enemies. Now think about this, you're able to sneak around the map, you don't have these huge long engagements because you have lots of cover, and the suppressor, by the way, works really great in this map because most of the engagements are a little bit shorter because you have a more closed-in space. You don't have these huge lines of sights because you have all this foliage and a cover. So essentially I think this makes moving around the map a little safer, I'll say. Now we can also think of China Rising because it is similar to the setting of the community map project, but it doesn't have, or rather it does have, this funneling effect. There's lots of big rock walls in a lot of the China Rising maps, and there's only certain ways you can go. You get funneled along roads and between passes, but that simply doesn't happen in the community map project. And for me and for my playstyle, I think that's a really smart move by DICE and the community. Now, as far as game modes go, I'm usually more of a rush and conquest kind of guy, but I actually found that domination works really well on the community map project. The map for domination is kind of small and it focuses on the ghost town part of the map, but there are lots of really small buildings around. There's lots of cover you can go in. Mind you, the buildings are destructible, which is awesome, and they're all one-story buildings, so there are no rooftops to worry about, which is amazing. Again, there's lots of foliage and tons of cover around the map, so while the map is really small, it's really easy to move from one side to the other relatively safely. All of the foliage and cover on the map makes the small map seem a little bit bigger. The engagements are more about shooting people just around the corner, wondering what building people are in. It's a very different dynamic from what we're used to because we're used to very static environments, but these buildings, literally every one of them can be leveled. You can just be moving all around the map in between bushes, and it's more about outplaying your opponent, I find. Not in the sense of just outshooting them, but actually outplaying them, because you have these dynamics from the map that you can utilize to your advantage by hiding in bushes, running around buildings. I just find it's a lot more fun to kill people on these maps rather than just hiding around a corner and just having the better aim. The point I'm trying to get at here is all the cover on this map really makes the map play a lot differently than we're used to, and for me specifically, I think it caters to my playstyle well. I really don't like being exposed from multiple angles. I love having all this cover that I can utilize to my advantage, and it's just a really fun environment to play in because most of the maps we have are a very urban environment, and the China Rising maps are kind of the only real like outsidey maps we have, and they're not really that great. So the community map project has been a pleasant surprise for me since last time I played it. It was just that big gray blob. Overall, I'm really impressed with DICE for putting this together, for getting the community's input on this. This is just so awesome, and it's a free DLC. I'm just really thankful that we have developers who are doing these kind of things for us. So hats off to you, DICE. Keep up the great work. Now, as always, if you have enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button. I always appreciate that. And everyone, this has been Asal, and I will see you guys next time.